Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is episode 3 of my gardening vlog series. I am on a roll here because I have some time to do some recording on these videos, and so hopefully I'll get them out faster and we'll catch up to where I'm at today in my garden. I just feel really bad if I didn't try to get this footage out there and document where my garden was back in the winter time. So this episode is mostly about me starting seeds. And I had mentioned in the last vlog that we had a crazy amount of rain and all of my stuff had gotten soaked, including my seed starting supplies. I had been hoarding a bunch of these Jiffy seed starting trays with these dehydrated peat pots in it, and they got soaked, so I thought I might as well use them now. These are the seeds that I plan to start for a late winter garden. You can see that I have them all pre-labeled. I don't really have a set amount of time where I can be in the garden because I work from home and I have a toddler that also stays at home. And so whenever I do have time to go in the garden, it's really unplanned and unpredictable. And so I like having everything ready, which is why I pre-label all my seed packets and I tape a piece of washi tape onto them. You'll see it a bit later on how I use that. But it just helps me when I am ready to garden, especially if I'm ready to start seeds and I don't have to scramble around. I also got these clear containers from the dollar store. I just bought a bunch of them because I knew I was going to need to keep things together. Oh, by the way, this is my favorite seed starting calendar. It's really hard to find a planting chart for my zone, which is zone 10A. A lot of places have most of the seasons, like spring, summer, fall, and winter. And while we do kind of have those seasons, we only really have warm or cool weather. We don't really ever get snow. Like if you look up zone 10A for a frost date, you'll see that we don't have one. Which I think people will say that that's a good thing. And while it is great, I still think there are some cons, because even though we can grow year round, our summers get really hot. So I feel like we don't even really have a summer because you can barely grow anything without having to be outside all the time to take care of them and keep them from burning up. So I don't know. I like being here. I like growing here, but I really wish it was a little bit colder, and I wish that we had more regular rain. I mean, this last rainfall was pretty crazy, but it would be nice to have as much rain as we had, like scattered throughout the year. So anyways, I am just starting my late winter crops. I think I was planting some radishes, broccoli, cauliflower, just some cool season things, because from December to January, February, it's still pretty cool. Like I said, we don't have a winter, we don't have snow, so we can get away growing with these things. Here you can see the benefits of having them pre-labeled. I didn't even know what I wanted to plant. I just looked through the seed packets and decided to put like vegetables together. And because there was already a label, I didn't have to pull out a pen or anything. And I like to pre-label my seed packets when I'm doing something else, like watching TV or just hanging out. Especially if I get a new pack of seeds. I love going through a new set of seeds and reading through the back, and I take that time to pre-label them also. The only thing I don't fill out on the label is the date. I try to fill it out when I actually plant the seeds, and I'm really terrible at doing that part. Like, I've gotten better at labeling ever since I started pre-labeling my packets, but sometimes I still forget to write the date. And personally, for me, I'm still kind of a new gardener. I've only been gardening for like 4 years, but knowing the date of when I sowed the seeds really helps me, because then I know when they are not growing well. Like, I can keep seedlings alive for a very long time, but whether or not they're actually thriving is a completely different story. Like, a lot of the times I'll start seeds and they'll grow, they'll have true leaves, but then they don't really take off. You could also see me using the piece of washi tape again that had the label to seal the seeds, the seed packets. I love using this little hack because a lot of the times the adhesive on the seed packets don't stay on very well, especially if you're working with water and dirt. It tends to lose its stickiness. So having that extra piece of washi tape to keep the packets closed has also helped. So yeah, I guess in general, I'm still kind of coming up with the perfect system, but it's really important for me to date the seeds because I don't know if they're supposed to be growing faster or if they're stunted. So it's nice to have the date so that if I'm looking at the seedling and I'm realizing, okay, it hasn't grown for a few weeks, have I missed a planting window, etc. If you've followed me from my previous channel, which is Cammie's Cottage, the original, you know that I love notebooks and planning and journaling. I have yet to found a system for gardening. I actually had tried many different methods, but keeping just a normal notebook for me to jot things down has actually been more successful than anything else. Like, I've tried decorating notebooks, I've tried using different kinds of planners, spent a lot of money doing it, and I found that just a regular notebook to quickly write down notes, things from the packets that I need to remember, things from planting that I need to remember, and just having it be a free flow notebook has been more helpful than anything. And this notebook that I'm writing in is called Write in the Rain notebooks, and they're weatherproof, so I can take them out during the rain, I can leave them out in the sun, and the notebook will hold up. I haven't really tested that, but I can already tell from the quality of the paper that if I got it wet, it definitely would not be ruined. So that's what notebook I'm using, and I honestly haven't really kept up with it, but I like knowing that I have a garden notebook where if I needed to write something down, it's there and it's ready. I'm also noticing that I'm using chopsticks. So chopsticks are my favorite seed starting tool for these peat pots because a lot of times you need to maneuver the pots around, and when you're dealing with seeds, especially the really small ones, it's better to have dry hands. So I use these chopsticks a lot to start the seeds and plant them. I think right now I'm just burying them really gently and lightly. Another thing that I want to mention is that when I start seeds, I try not to dig a hole too deep because depending on the size of the seed, the deeper you plant them, the longer it takes for them to have to get up to the surface. So that's one of the things that I've learned. And it's actually really hard to control with these peat pots because they come in a pressed disc and they already kind of have a hole in them that's super deep. So a lot of the times, sorry for the background noise, but a lot of the times after you hydrate them, there's already this really deep hole, maybe like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And so I spend a lot of time just kind of leveling it out. But I have moved away from these peat pots for a number of different reasons. I love the ease of it and how clean it is if I want to start them in my house, like in the kitchen, but they're just not cost effective. I think they're good to have in a pinch, which is why I was kind of hoarding them, but they all got wet anyway. Some of the seeds that I'm starting right now are from the Callie Kim Cool Weather Vegetable Collection. I like to support garden YouTubers, so if you want to check her out, she's great. Also gardens in my zone. I wanted to show you guys this pen. So this is my favorite garden marker right now. There's another one that I'm going to try out, but until I try it out, I won't really promote it yet. But what I like is that they really don't fade at all. And even after you're done growing with them, you can kind of let them sit out in the sun and then use some water or some vinegar and scrape them off and use the plastic label again. I haven't tried it with any other type of label, but the plastic ones do really well. So here's just another shot of me starting the seeds. You can see that some of the holes are already pretty deep, and it's just really hard filling them in. These are one of the utility tables that I use for my garden stuff. I usually bust them out when I'm starting seeds or transplanting or potting up. So it's really nice to have that potting bench, to just have like a section that I'm always able to work on, like a steady surface, and not have to worry about unfolding or folding these tables. So here are all the seeds, and I will be sure to update you guys in the next video on how they do. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.